Thank you very much, Ben. That's a wonderful story, and our DevOps automation service at Rackspace is a very fast-growing part of our business, and one that we're particularly excited, as John mentioned a little bit earlier, to start stretching out onto other clouds and not just Rackspaces. Well, next up, we've got a panel discussion that really epitomises some of the different industries and types of companies and problems that I referred to when we kicked off the day. We've got a 3M, one of the largest conglomerates in the world. We've got Young and Rubicon Group, a large global agency, and TireRight, which is a fantastic tyre selling online and retail business here in Australia. And our next panellists solved the challenge of finding the right expertise and support for their growth in their IT department by using Rackspace Fanatical support. And as Ben just alluded to, it's not just a marketing thing for us. It's our results-obsessed, above and beyond form of customer service. So please join me in welcoming to the stage from 3M, Sue Patterson, from Young and Rubicon Group, Craig Castle-Mead, from TireRight, Daniel Wright, and from Rackspace, our facilitator, Joanne Schofield.
Me like right now. I don't know if you get a man in that.
Didn't know whether to dance there or just wait. So I waited. Thanks, guys. It's great to be on the Soul stage today. We've got some fantastic panellists. We're going to run for about 20 minutes, but I wanted to just point out the fact that in your conference program, you'll see that Shane Bellato from All Homes was due to talk on the stage with us. Unfortunately, he put his back out. But it's never been a problem getting people to talk about Fanatical support. So thank you very much for those of you who've agreed to step in. Appreciate it. What is Fanatical support? Is it a promise? Is it something that we can actually deliver on? It's one of those crazy little intangible things that's sometimes hard, as the head of marketing, to get people to understand what that looks and feels like. And the best way to actually get to understand what that looks and feels like is to talk to our customers, which is exactly what we're going to do now. Thank you guys for joining me today. I think Angus gave us a good introduction. I think it'd be worthwhile just kicking things off by each of you giving a brief introduction about your business and the role you have within your business. I think, Dan, we'll kick off with you.
I'm Chief Digital Officer at TireRight. We work in the sexiest retail space there is, selling tyres online. We were the first national tyre seller in Australia to offer a buy and book fitment process as part of our e-commerce solution.
Fantastic. Thanks, Daniel.
Craig Castle-Mead from Young and Rubicon Group. So we're a global network of advertising agencies, and my remit is looking after the 15 or so digital agencies that we have within Australia and New Zealand. We have a number of digital agencies, but it's pretty hard to do advertising and marketing without some form of digital involvement these days as well. And I'm in the IT team, and it's more of a proactive supporting the agencies that we look after in a proactive role. We have the reactive technical support team that look after issues that do happen. My role is to try and make sure that things go smoothly and we don't have to react as much as we can get away with, so we can deliver the solutions much better and with a higher quality in the first place.
Thank you, Craig. And Sue?
Morning, everybody. I'm Sue Patterson. I'm the ANZ Health Information Systems Business Manager from 3M. I suspect that most of you in the room will have had some part of 3M touch some piece of your life. We're obviously a large multinational company headquartered in Minnesota. The 3M actually stands for Minnesota Mining and Manufacturing, although sometimes it feels like it stands for meetings, and more meetings. I guess, as you would know, we have a broad base of many, many thousands of products. The piece that I am particularly playing a part in managing is our offering within the healthcare space. And from a health information perspective, that is all about what happens to you once you actually come to take up some piece of healthcare within the Australia and New Zealand environment. So if something happens to you, say for example you break your leg and you end up in the emergency department of a hospital, a large patient record is created around your episode of care. And where we come in is linking the data from that patient record and translating it back into a form that either the government or the health insurer can pay the institution that has looked after you. So I guess managing the health information space is the piece that I'm involved in and my team of people.
Great, thanks very much, Sue. Before we start talking about Fanatical support, I think it'd be great to give the audience some context around what your situation was pre-Rackspace. So, Daniel, can I start with you again?
Sure. Look, we had a reasonably straightforward e-commerce setup. We're using a CMS called Sitecore, which has an experience management suite, provides a lot of customization and that sort of thing. We'd gone with a dedicated host provider. We actually got ourselves into a situation where we basically wound up with a ticking time bomb in terms of our existing host, and we needed to find an alternative solution quickly. And so I started looking towards cloud immediately, as was discussed in an earlier session, looking for things like scalability and reliability of uptime as being key drivers.
Great, thanks very much, Daniel. Same question to you, Craig.
So working with such a large number of agencies, we had the inevitable black ops that was happening. We had hosting providers all over the place. We had hosting provider sprawl, let alone virtualization sprawl as well. So we embarked on a campaign to try and consolidate as much hosting as we could into a number of globally approved providers as well. We're owned by a massive agency or a massive holding company above us as well, and they want to know that things are being done correctly. Yeah. So we looked at a number of different providers out on the market, and one of the big things that technically a lot of the solutions came in as being able to fulfill our needs, but from a support and an engagement point of view, Rackspace really ticked those boxes. So we're still consolidating, but it's definitely been great to have Rackspace as a partner on that journey.
Fantastic, thank you. Sue, we'll throw to you.
I think from our perspective, the situation prior to Rackspace is that within the healthcare environment, most of the software that is deployed is run within the healthcare network, so within their own internal servers. We at 3M are obviously constantly striving to give our customers solutions that drive productivity and efficiency, so we're really keen to take on the benefits that hosting technology offers. With, I guess, the caveat that because we are dealing with healthcare data, the privacy and security issues are really for utmost importance. I think where Rackspace became exemplary is the level of certification that you have and the transparency with which you're prepared to share that. I think also we too went to the market, but as you've already alluded to, Craig, the fact that there is just this fabulous environment within Rackspace and team spirit and the ability to serve our customers, certainly the willingness to take our customers to the data centre if indeed that's required, and to participate in some of our functions has just been outstanding. So yeah, the level of engagement on the journey from you guys is fabulous.
Thanks very much, Sue. So slightly touching on a bit more Fanatical support there. I just want to talk briefly about the technology. We are a service company. We strive to be the #1 service company in the world, but we've got that little thing called technology, and that sometimes crops up issues. And what I wanted the guys to talk about was, well, what does it look like when an issue actually does crop up? What does Fanatical support feel like to them when their back's up against the wall? I might start with you, Craig, this time. I'm going to mix it up.
Yeah. My ideal version of support is something that you never have to use, but you know that's there in case you need it. And while my role is trying to do proactive support within the agencies that we look after, that's what we try and engage Rackspace to do as well. So you get the support right from a pre-campaign discussion about what the technology and like the platform selection is going to be. Their teams will help you go through the design and make sure that what you're looking at putting onto their cloud is actually going to work. It's often seen as cloud is this magical thing that's going to make everything work, but without the right design and implementation in the first place, you can't just make it work by throwing it into the cloud. Unfortunately, we have had issues that we've had to be reactive to. They have been minimal because of the support that we do have, but when you need to engage with someone from Rackspace, I thought Fanatical support was a marketing term, but it's not. They live it and they breathe it. You can engage with people at any time, and you're dealing with people who know what they're doing basically straight out of the gate. You're not going through people that are reading through scripts and can't help you out. And one of the other things that I've really found as well is that it doesn't feel like you're interrupting what they want to do for them to help you with what you're asking. What they want to do is help you out. We've got some great relationships with the agency account management team and just the account support team, and we catch up frequently, so we know what's going on in each other's sides of the business, and it has just been fantastic. And you don't feel we're quite under time pressure when it comes to some issues, and I've spoken to some of the support teams, and it's probably a stupid question. It's definitely something I could have figured out on my own if I'd had enough time, but you feel comfortable going to them and just going, I just need to know this now, can you help me out? So having that level of comfort with the support team has been fantastic, and it helps me sleep better at night.
Wonderful.
Which is good.
Thank you. Sue?
I think certainly our experience with Rackspace within Australia and New Zealand has been fairly short, but the parent company has a very long-standing relationship with Rackspace. For us, the onboarding process was just handled so efficiently with great enthusiasm. We, of course, needed everything yesterday, and Rackspace were very keen to quickly and enthusiastically try and help us meet the timelines to get everything set up, which we certainly did very successfully. I think the reassurance of having the high levels of redundancy, the high levels of flexibility around load, peak and off-peak, and just the comfort of knowing that we have 24-hour support, which is always exemplary, has been amazing. We've really only experienced one issue to date as a result of the high service levels I think we've received, and that was proactively already acted upon, and we were just emailed around what had resulted as a part of the problem. So yes, exemplary support is certainly something which is very strongly within the culture of Rackspace from our experience.
Thank you very much. So, and lastly, Daniel, any issues and how it's
well,
managed?
as I mentioned earlier, our primary issue, and similar to Sue, we're a reasonably new customer with Rackspace, so our primary issue was an urgent need to migrate. As I said, I'd started to look at cloud. To be perfectly honest, I'd pretty much immediately dismissed Rackspace because my impression and understanding of them had been very, very good, pretty expensive, and being a good Aussie bloke, total eye roll at Fanatical support. What does that even mean? Everyone promises support. I actually engaged with Rackspace on a whim as I was crossing a conference floor, and immediately two of their staff jumped out of representing the company, sat down with me, had a coffee, spent 15 minutes finding out what I needed, got back to me that night with two quotes, one which matched my exact requirements, one which proposed an alternative solution that was cheaper. The next morning they beat that again with a new quote. So before we'd even actually formally become a customer, I was experiencing Fanatical support, and it's kind of confronting at first. But it's, as Craig said, it's very reassuring. You really do gain trust very quickly because people that engage with you know what they're doing, and they take the time to understand what you need, and then they provide the best possible solution.
That's great, thank you. It can be confronting. Yeah, I know what you mean. So what have you been able to achieve, I guess, since using Rackspace? Things like uptime, scalability, but really please make this response your own. I might throw to Sue first.
I think obviously the ability to offer 24-hour support is critical, particularly in the healthcare environment. We're obviously starting to be able to drive the productivities and efficiencies that we can get by offering the hosted solution to the customers. This clearly takes the burden off their IT environment and allows us to be responsive when the World Health Organization brings out new disease classifications. We can quickly and simply add them to the product, and the customer does not then have to run Update Manager, etc., and perhaps maybe not running the most current version of the product. So I think we've already seen some significant productivity gains. I think the other area that for us internally is it's enabled us to have a much broader testing environment, so we can be certain that we're maintaining the quality behind the product on an ongoing basis.
Great, thank you, Sue. Same question to you, Craig.
We've been able to improve the service that we've delivered to our clients, who are the agencies, our clients' clients, who are the customers, and our clients' clients' clients, who are the end users. So it's allowed us to go into more pitches as a full service delivery. It's not just the marketing side of things. We're now providing a hosting and managed platform. We have internal skill sets that we're able to kind of complement with the support that we do get from Rackspace as well. And that's kind of rounded off our offering that we're able to supply. And when there's customers that have some of the curly questions or may wonder why an agency can provide this level of support, we can use the backup that we do get from Rackspace as an extra benefit. And as you alluded to before as well, going in, and I mean, we deal with a number of government agencies and large multinationals as well. They go through you go through the security audit requirements, and we've worked with hosting providers before that will not give you the information to back up what you need to put into a security audit document. Rackspace did whatever you needed to do to help us, and then some. So it's just allowed us confidence at every level in the pre-sales component, but then in the post-sales component as well. We've done quite a number of very short-lived, high-burst campaigns where you have one opportunity to get it right, and we've gone in with confidence and we've come out with glowing feedback from the clients as well. So it's been fantastic.
Wonderful, thank you. And Daniel?
Yeah, look, for us, the key things are very simple and straightforward. Uptime, stability, page load speeds, that sort of thing. But also then supported by a certainty that what we have in place is not only suitable to what we need now, but is ready to expand with our ongoing development projects and where we're heading next. So it's a very firm foundation that we're eager to build the next phase of TireRight on.
Fantastic, thank you guys. So one final question. What has surprised you about Fanatical support? I'm going to throw to you first, so if that's okay.
I think what surprised me about Fanatical support and just the strength of the culture within Rackspace, you really all live and breathe and totally believe the Fanatical support ethic, which is refreshing, and almost as a customer you feel as if that rubs off on you, I think. So it's just a high level of confidence. And yeah, I think locally, certainly from a 3M perspective, we're really looking forward to a long, healthy partnership, and one that can hopefully benefit everybody in this room, as we all have to access healthcare at some point in our lives.
Thank you. Craig?
You mean it. It's not the marketing term, and it probably sounds cliched, and it probably sounds like all the presenters have colluded to say the same thing, but we haven't. It is really refreshing to have a company that will back their core values. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Thank you. And Daniel, last
Yeah,
thought.
it's just surprising how true it is. And echoing Sue, you know, for us, we were looking for someone that we could partner with over the long term. And that means that things like the core value, as Craig says, it's so centrally important. And my view on the company now is, truthfully, I'm coming to Rackspace to buy support. You throw the hosting in, but it's the support. It is.
Wonderful. Thank you, guys. I hope that gave the audience a brief insight into what Fanatical support certainly looks like for these fabulous customers on stage. One final thought from me. It's obviously great to hear customers give feedback like that. We didn't pay them, but I think customers don't really realise that they make Rackspace the most remarkable place to work. So thank you, guys. I really appreciate you being on stage today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.